Hey guys, I'm Karl. Welcome to my movie film show. Feel free to subscribe down below if you would like to. But we're here today to talk about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. That's a long title, a very long title. New Mission Impossible, new camera angle, why the hell not? New Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. It's getting a lot of praise, left, right and centre. Over 95% both audience and critics score at the time of recording. It's getting a lot of praise from critics. One even called it the greatest action movie of all time. One I saw online said the best Mission Impossible movie of all time. And there's all sorts of crazy positive reviews for the movie all over the internet. And I went into this movie going, okay, this movie's going to be amazing. It came out on a Monday, which was kind of weird. So I waited until the following Friday to watch it. A lot of people started posting their reviews of it, and a lot of them were very, very positive. Straight away, I was saying to myself, well, here we go. It's going to be one of the best movies of the summer. And maybe that was my own fault for building up my expectations that high. But for me, Mission Impossible, the new Mission Impossible movie, is one of the most overrated movies of 2023. And that might be a shock to a lot of people. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it's not as good as people are pretending it is. It's definitely not the best movie I've watched this summer, and I've watched a lot of movies this summer. The movie has some spectacular visuals and some spectacular action scenes, and the overall story is quite interesting, but it's also got a lot of bad to it, and we'll get into that as well. Try my best not to post any spoilers in this review as well. Now, the main weird thing in this movie is the whole bad guy. You've got the bad guy and his computer code, which is also the bad guy, and his computer program code thingy is called the Entity, which, you know, is just like the most generic shit you could go with. It's like the source code, Project X, the bad guy. It's that level of just crappy writing. And okay, you can get away with that in these type of movies. If they're not supposed to be amazing stories with, you know, I guess great names. They went to so much effort with so much of this movie, and then when it comes to the Entity, the best thing they can come up with is the Entity. It just seems a bit lazy. As I mentioned, some spectacular action scenes in the movie, and you'd expect no less with Tom Cruise involved in a Mission Impossible movie where Tom Cruise is going to be doing all of his own stunts. But the one thing that they ruined with this movie is they put the big stunt from the movie in the trailer. Tom Cruise went on various talk shows talking about the stunt, and they showed the stunt practically in full, where he's jumping off the cliff on the bike and leaves the bike.
See it in the biggest, most seat-shaking theater you can find. It will take your breath away.
Ethan, did you make it? Are you okay?
Yeah, it looks great in the cinema, but we've already seen it by the time we've gone to the movie theater. It doesn't make a lot of sense the way they promoted that. Everybody expects these big stunts in the Mission Impossible movies, and for the biggest one, they ruined it before you even got to see it on the big screen, which is just a bit of a shame. You've got other spectacular scenes in there. The train scene is pretty spectacular visual wise. A lot of tension built up in there. I couldn't help but think about Uncharted 2, the video game, where you're practically doing the exact same thing. I guess it hasn't been done too recently in live action movies. However, a fight on top of a train has happened quite recently, because the exact same thing happened in Indiana Jones just a couple of weeks ago. Fight on top of a train gets to the end of a bridge. I think the bridge exploded in that one as well. Maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe in Oppenheimer there's going to be a fight on top of a train too. We'll find out next week. Maybe in the Barbie movie there's a fight on top of a train. Who knows? The movie did have a lot of really good humor in it. Of course, Simon Pegg in there is always going to add a lot of great flavour in there. They've got some cheesy jokes in there and some tropes. You can go into this action movie with a list of action movie tropes, and you'll probably tick off 90% of them on your way. They even had this stupid little joke where they're going to find a car. Tom Cruise presses the button, they show a big fancy like Ferrari or something like that, or a Porsche, and out comes a little Mini. How many times have we seen that in action movies or spoof movies like Johnny English or something like that? That had a really cool chase scene, car chase scene, arguably went on a little bit too long, and that's the thing that I didn't personally like about the movie, is that the movie went on a little bit too long. 2.5 hours, if not 2 hours 40, something like that. Quite a long movie that felt like a long movie. There's various points in the movie where I found myself just enthralled and getting involved in the action and suspense, and the story is quite engaging, and large parts where I was saying, I'm getting bored now. This doesn't need to be in the movie. Overall, the pacing of the movie is up and down to the point where by the end of the movie, I just wanted it to end. And I know that's probably just me. Towards the end of the movie, it's one of those movies where you can tell they're winding up the movie. They're doing the whole voiceover and they're building up towards the end of the movie, and it was going on for quite a long time, getting to the point of, okay, come on, get the credits going. But yeah, at the end of the movie, I just found myself wanting it to end. I got the whole picture by that stage. The movie had a lot of good. It also had some bad in there. They've got some crazy scenes if you really want to nitpick, and I don't want to get into spoilers too much, but there's a scene at the beginning of the movie where Tom Cruise is in a desert and he's being chased, and the woman has a sniper rifle and she just starts picking off guys one by one with a sniper rifle. They show down the scope that she's looking right at the guy, but they're in a sandstorm. There's big winds sailing across and she's looking exactly at the guy and just picking him off. She's not accounting for the wind, she's not doing any of that, she's not really doing what a sniper would be doing, she's just bang. There's also a scene towards the end where one character who's smaller than two other characters catches one of their arms and pulls both of them to safety despite being the smallest person of the three, which again is nitpicking. Now, as I mentioned, overall, the overall story is quite interesting. It's dragged out in places, but it was overall set up relatively well for the second installment, because don't forget, this is a part one. The interesting thing with the whole part one thing is often what I expect is they'll leave your protagonist or your hero in a state of peril, like they did with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. They leave you on that cliffhanger of what's going to happen to our hero. It seems that Tom Cruise has this thing of his character has to be the hero. He's not going to look bad, he's not going to look weak, so they don't quite leave it on a cliffhanger like they could have with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So overall, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, it was an enjoyable movie, if unspectacular movie in my opinion. Both of them did get down to a rating out of 10, like we do for every movie review here on Karl's Movie Film Show, out of 10, and I would give it a 7 out of 10. It was a solid movie. It wasn't the greatest movie of the year. It was definitely overrated. It is overrated, and I expect the ratings to go down over time. But I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who are saying I'm a complete idiot. I can't wait to see all the people who comment purely based on the title of the video. That's going to be quite interesting in the comments below, or the thumbnail. Probably comments because the thumbnail says overrated on it. But I'd love to hear your opinions, good, bad, or indifferent, on Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 in the comment section below. And with all that being said, check out one of these videos, and I'll see you in the next video.